Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 11, verse 22. Prabhav Abhivadanaslesha Kara Kara Parsha Smritik Shani Ahai Asvasya Chasvabhyo Varais Chabhim Vibhuhu Prabhavivadanash Aslesha Karas Varsha Smitik Nahai Asvasya Chasvabhyo Varais Chabhimatir Vibhuhu. Anybody want to chant the verse?
Yes, Prabhu, I can do it. Prahvabhivadanaslesha Karasparsha Smitekshane Asvasya Chasvapakshebhyo Varaischa Bhimatir Vibhuhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Maybe I can try, Prabhu. Bhavabhivadana Shlesha Karasparsha Smitekshanah Ashtvasya Chashtvapakebhyo Vareshtabhimatervibhuhu.
I can also try, Prabhu. Prabhavavivadana Shlesha Karasparsha Smitekshanah Ashvasya Chasvapakebhyo Varais Chabhimater Vibhuhu. Hare Krishna.
Pravabhivadanaślesha Karasparsha Smitekshane Ashvasya Chasvapakebhyo Varescha Bhimater Vibhu.
Anybody else on there? Prabha, bowing his head. Abhivadana, by greeting with words. Ashlesha, embracing. Karasparsha, shaking hands. Smita Ikshanai, by a glancing smile. Asvasya, by encouragement. Cha and. Asvabhyo, down to the lowest rank of dog eaters. Varai, by benedictions. Cha, also. Abhimatai, as desired by Vibhuhu, the Almighty. Translation and purport. Praise the divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurances and awarding benedictions, even to the lowest in rank. Bowing his head. Supreme Personality of Godhead is bowing his head. That is Krishna. So sweet. To receive the Lord Sri Krishna, our grades of population. Sorry, let me start over. To receive the Lord Sri Krishna, there were all grades of population, beginning from Vasudeva, Ugrasena, Muni, the father, grandfather, and teacher, down to the prostitutes and chandalas who are accustomed to eating dogs. And everyone else, and every one of them was properly greeted by the Lord in terms of rank and position. Pure living entity, all as pure living entities, all are the separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and thus no one is alien by his eternal relation. Such pure living entities are created differently in terms of contamination of the modes of material nature. But the Lord is equally affectionate to all his parts and parcels, despite material gradation. He descends only to recall these materialistic living beings back to his kingdom, and intelligent persons take advantage of this facility offered by the personality of Godhead to all living beings. No one is rejected by the Lord from the kingdom of God. It remains with the living being to accept this or not. Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurances and awarding benedictions even to the lowest in rank. Krishna, not exactly sure what to say, but we'll pray that Shri Guru and Gauranga will empower us to speak something relevant for all of our advancement in our desire to awaken Prema Bhakti in our heart and serve the Lord eternally in all circumstances. So thus far, we've been reading about Krishna entering Dvarka. So this is like it's being narrated, and all of the kind of details of Krishna first blowing his conch shells, he's coming into the city through all of the different personalities who are eagerly awaiting for Krishna to return. And when they heard this conch shell blow, they're all running toward the gates or to wherever they are to greet Krishna. Finally, they're there greeting Krishna. He's walking in. Can you just imagine the way that these devotees feel? Krishna is coming back to Dvarka. It's quite amazing. Here we're talking about all sorts of different types of people. So Krishna, he's reciprocating with everybody according to their status in society and his relationship with them, as it goes with society's ranks and positions. As Prabhupada points out here, every one of them was properly greeted by the Lord in terms of rank and position. But this point is nice. Srila Prabhupada pointing out that we're all as pure living beings, living entities, part and parcel of the Lord. We all have an eternal relationship with Krishna in some way. And as we progress on this path of devotional service and it unfolds layer by layer, we begin to understand our eternal identity. Not only that I am a spirit soul apart from this body, as Bhagavad Gita explains, never, it's unperishable, it can't be killed in any way or contaminated. It's not slain or in the body slain, all these things that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Besides that, we have an eternal service to Krishna in the spiritual world. Whether Vaikuntha, Dwarka, Mathura, or Goloka Vrindavan. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Lord Chaitanya has broken open the storehouse of transcendental love and is distributing it so freely. And he's giving that highest realm of Goloka to those who desire it. So the devotees in Dwarka here are super eager to see Krishna. Can you imagine what the residents of Vrindavan felt? They were so feeling separation when Krishna went out to herd the cows. So the elder gopis and gopas, they were in separation when Krishna went to go herd the cows out in the field. And then the cowherd boys were in separation from Krishna when they went back to their homes in the evening. So the feelings of separation were so intense in Vrindavan that just mere hours away from Krishna was agony. I'm not sure how the Dwarka residents felt, but it's explained as we progress toward the 10th canto, slowly but surely, that the love of the residents of Vrindavan is most super excellent. But we're talking about the devotees in Dwarka who are greeting the Lord, from the prostitutes to the Chandalas, from the king, his father, his grandfather, and his teacher, all the way down to the lowest of material society. But all are eligible to establish their eternal relationship with Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that one of the reasons Krishna appears is to recall all of us conditioned souls back to the spiritual world. Descends only to recall these materialistic living beings back to his kingdom. Intelligent persons take advantage of this facility offered by the Supreme Lord. So when Lord Chaitanya was going throughout the towns and villages, and he's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He was distributing the holy name so freely. And he was saying that all you have to do is take it. Just accept it, and pure love of God will awaken within your heart. He told his devotees that I am sitting at the marketplace and I'm giving away these fruits of love of God for free. And nobody's taking them. So I need you to help go out and spread these fruits to everybody This is Srila Prabhupada's mission, taking that order, taking that instruction on his head. He traveled throughout the world, and it's so amazing the accomplishments Srila Prabhupada had, spending time in the Dham. I've been reflecting on how absolutely amazing and compassionately, wonderfully kind and compassionate Srila Prabhupada is to allow such persons as myself to be in the highest of all places. Srila Rupa Goswami explains in Nectar of Instruction, Upatiksha Amrita, of all places in the anywhere, Sri Radhakund is the most sacred of all places. It says Bharat is most fortunate because the Lord appears there and performs so much pastimes. And of all places in Bharat, Mathura is the best because Krishna appeared there. And of all places in Mathura, Vrindavan is the topmost because the Lord performed so many pastimes there, intimate pastimes. And of all places in Vrindavan, Govardhan is most super excellent. And of all places in Govardhan, Sri Radhakund is the topmost of all places. So this is what Lord Chaitanya gave, what Srila Prabhupada gave, entrance into such sweet nectar as Vraj Bhakti. As Srila Prabhupada's pointing out here, it remains with the living entity to accept this or not. It's up to us. It's our eagerness, our determination. As Rupa Goswami says that we need lobha or greed. I was thinking I should look up what the definition of greed is. But greed, we all know what greed is. Oftentimes we've seen or we've experienced in our own consciousness greed for something. But when we have that greed for Krishna, that's what gives us entrance into this Vrajdam Bhakti that Lord Chaitanya gives. All we need to have faith. Goswami explains there's 6 things: patience, faith, determination. Can't think of the other ones. Accepting things favorable to Krishna and rejecting those things that are unfavorable. Devotional service, I think. In the association of devotees, we very enthusiastically, attentively chant the holy names. This is the process Lord Chaitanya gave us, Srila Prabhupada gave us. And if we take advantage of it with all of our energy, we will surely experience what these devotees here are experiencing, that deep desire to perceive the Lord. And that consciousness can be now, as we sit here reading Śrimad Bhāgavatam. It's explained that Śrimad Bhāgavatam is non-different than Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said to the devotees, I was obviously not there, but from what I understand and heard from devotees, it's like that when they were on Sankirtan, he didn't want them to have travel with deities. Of course, there was exceptions to that, but for the most part, they said, how will we offer our foods? And he said, we offer to Bhāgavatam. Bhāgavatam is not different from Krishna. Prabhupada said many times, there's book Bhagavat, there's person Bhagavat. So, Śrimad Bhāgavatam, when we approach it, right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I reveal myself by how you approach me. So, when we approach Śrimad Bhāgavatam, when we approach our Archana Seva, our Seva Puja, when we approach our prayers to Krishna, when we approach our chanting, when we approach Krishna through smarana, remembering, these 9 processes of devotional service, when we approach Krishna to access Krishna, not just mechanically, okay, I'm going to chant my rounds today. Okay, it's Sunday morning, I'm going to go to Bhagavatam class and hear, what the speaker has to say. Oh, I've heard this so many times before. Why is he saying the same thing over and over? Like that. Sometimes we get in that mood, especially if we've been around for a long time. Let me chant my rounds again. Okay. Some, hey kitty kitty, hey schnick schnick, our schnick schnicks and hey kitty kitties is not going to get us a taste for the holy name. We have to call out, we have to approach Krishna through these 9 processes with a desire to serve him, with a desire to access him. Of course, it says those who serve my devotees, they're my real servants. So there's also that, but the importance of not taking these things lightly. One time you may have heard this before too, but there's a devotee who joined the 24-hour kirtan. Indra Prabhu was there, and they were all doing kirtan, and this devotee was happening is would have been playing mridanga or something. He wasn't able to keep up and anything. And Indra Prabhu was really heavy on him. He was like, Prabhu, I'm used to casual kirtan. And he said, there's no casual kirtan here, right? This was the mood that Indra Prabhu had. And you could see the depth of his realizations. And he took this very seriously. So we don't do our bhajan casually. This isn't casual. We've got to be very serious. One may say, oh, but I have a hard time being serious. Not, just taking it lightly. But if we have that desire and we continue to strive for that intensity, for that urgency, Srila Prabhupada used that word urgency a lot. Jamuna Devi used to always say that to us. How much Prabhupada emphasized this idea of urgency now. Take shelter of Krishna now. Sarvadhamam Vrikshaja. Take shelter now. Don't wait till the fag end of your life, right? You've heard this before. So many times Prabhupada would say like that. Don't wait till you're old. Do it now, because death can come at any moment. This this becomes revealed in layers, in its own time. So don't be discouraged if there's times that you feel enthusiastic and times that you don't. Srila Prabhupada said, that this, from what I understand, he said, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that when you're not feeling enthusiastic, two things you should do. You should act enthusiastic, because by acting enthusiastic, enthusiasm will come, and associate with those devotees who have enthusiasm. Now how about if you say, oh, but so far I don't live near the temple, or I'm so busy I don't have time to associate with the devotees as much as I'd like to. Well, we have a plethora of grunts, so many literatures. Srila Prabhupada gave so many extensive purports, and quoting from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so many devotees. The books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so many books are being translated now. We've got access to so much that there's no reason we can't have really high quality sadhu sangha through the literature of our Gaudiya Acharyas. So much opportunity. We should really take advantage. And there'll be a time when we have this real eagerness to meet Krishna, if you don't already have it. And this is a wonderful. This is the last few verses. This is what I've been getting out of it. That this really enthusiastic desire to meet Krishna. It's like, how many lifetimes have we been away from Krishna, and we have the opportunity to associate with Krishna through his holy name, and we're falling asleep, or we're thinking about who just emailed me, or we're thinking about what I have to do for work. I have to go to the store today. I've got to run this errand and that errand. Oh yeah, I'm chanting my rounds. Let me try to focus. This is the conditioned nature. And we've got Krishna right on the tip of our tongue through his holy name, and we're so distracted. At least that's how I am. I can't speak for all of you, but from what I understand, this is the plague of material existence. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains it very nicely in his Kadamba Karmanini. So, anyway, this is all stages in our development, but we have to keep the goal in the center, right? To keep striving for that, and though we have so many shortcomings, Srila Prabhupada, he was installing the Dwarkanath in LA. Jyotadi was there. He was like, he was in a really deep mood of loving reciprocation with Krishna. It's a very wonderful lecture. I think I've mentioned it before a few times. I think Narottam Vilas posted it once somewhere for everybody. Hopefully somebody listened to it, because it's such nectar. Srila Prabhupada's talking about how if we approach Krishna in his deity form with the understanding that it is Krishna, not just this brass idol, but Krishna. you serve him nicely, then this Krishna will speak to you. You'll have words back and forth with Krishna. This Krishna will speak to you, he says. And he said, the mood in which we should approach Krishna is, I am most fallen, and I have nothing to offer you, but please accept me. And he starts, like the way he says, so deep. Please accept whatever I can give you. It's very little, but please accept me. And he's like weeping. It's really powerful. It's very powerful. But this is how we should approach Krishna, through his holy name. What does Krishna need from us? He has everything. The only thing he doesn't have is our love. So when we can give him that love, Krishna will be happy. And the more we strive, the more we give, then the more he reciprocates. But it is, as Srila Prabhupada says, it's up to us. Krishna helps, but he only helps to the amount that we surrender because of the free will. He doesn't force. What time is it? Oh, I think time's all messed up. I don't know if we still have time, right? Half an hour, I think.
We have 20 minutes. 20 minutes we have.
20 minutes.
Almost.
Okay. Let's discuss. I want to hear from all of you too. What any questions or any comments? There's no questions. I want at least each person to say one thing, at least one thing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, really glad to know that you are by the Radha Kund. I had the good fortune of visiting Radha Kund last year, rather than actually this year, this May. Yeah, I was there, and then I was there only for like 10 hours because my trip was very short, and 10 hours, like 2.5 hours, I was able to spend near Radha Kund, Shamkund. So I'm so glad that you're there. Okay, as Radha Kund Mata said, please bless us. And also, I think I felt very powerful, empowered. You just close your eyes and just speaking extempore. It's beautiful. Okay, so the real stuff is coming out. That's why I saw it. I'm glad that we are having this conversation, Prabhuji. And if time permits, I would like to understand a little bit about your trip, what's going on there, and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, at the end, we can talk about what's been going on, I guess. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Any realizations on the verse and what stands out to you? What calls to you? What is something that when you read this, you were like, oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. When you said the fallen, right? I'm the most fallen. Previously, it was like a theoretical thing for me, okay, to say it. But now, at least when you said it, I could see the imperfections in me. And at least when I'm doing, when I was looking at a Lord's picture, or especially Damodar picture, all the negative thoughts, whatever stuff comes in our mind, right? So now it's clear to me that, okay, this is what is fallen, right? So ideally, we should have a pure mind. It's like a pure thoughts process to serve the God. But all the distractions, as you were saying, so that is essentially because I'm fallen. So now I can truly pray to the God that, look, I'm really fallen, right? It's no more a theoretical concept. It's a real concept. Hope I make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm looking at something right here. I have a quotes written down. It made me think of it. See if I can find it real quick. Bhakti Vijayapurna Maharaj, I was listening to might be able to pull it out from my memory, but yeah, this is nice. It's really, I liked how he put this, because right, Srila Prabhupada explained, he explains pure devotional service. A lot of times we think pure devotional service is like, on the platform of the acharyas, which it is. But there's also the pure devotional service in which we're still conditioned, but that's our goal. Our goal is pure devotional service. We don't have an ulterior motive. So Bhakti Vijayapurna Maharaj is saying pure devotional. Pure means the conscious effort is pure, right? Our conscious effort. What we're trying to do, that's pure. We want to please Krishna. We want to serve the devotees, right? The unconscious habit, that's what's being purified. And the holy name is purifying that, right? The unconscious habit, those things that we do that are not favorable toward Krishna or developing our Krishna consciousness, they're a habit. They're an unconscious habit from being conditioned for so long. That's what's being purified out. The desire to please Krishna without ulterior motive, that's the pure devotional service. I thought it was a very nice perspective. Thank you, Prabhu. Who's next?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu. Thank you so much for your transcendental lecture, as always, Prabhuji. And thank you so much for explaining how to approach Krishna with tears in the eyes, and with a very, very, humble, state of mind, how to approach Krishna. It is really very nice, Prabhu, to hear. And I'm also so happy that you are, by Radhakund, and you are most fortunate, Prabhuji, to be there. I want to hear how Radhakan Prabhu mentioned that we want to hear about your trip to Vrindavan, and from this verse actually I could understand the Krishna, how he is a Devadi Deva, is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still how humble he is, paying obeisances to everyone and treating especially equally everyone, even the Chandalas and prostitutes also he was considering, and treating them as per their ranks and positions very nicely. So that is a lesson for me also, to treat everyone equally, Prabhuji. And knowing my situation, if the Supreme Lord is like that, who is controlling all the universes, and who is the creator of everything, and from whom everything emanates, and he is like that, and how I should be, actually I should humble myself. I totally understand how insignificant I am actually, Prabhu, and how I'm behaving. Actually, I'm ashamed of myself. Actually, it's saying is easy, Prabhu, but actually, it has to come from the heart. Actually, I'm so proud of myself, and I could actually recollect all my anardhas in my heart, Prabhu. So this verse is actually useful. Discussion is very, very useful. How we have to be actually in front of all the living entities, because every living Krishna is there in every living entity's heart, right? So as a super soul, so I have to respect everyone, and equally, without any keeping grudge or anything like that in my heart. So I have to make myself humble, Prabhuji. And also Srila Prabhupada mentioned very nicely, we are all equal actually, in the way that we are a spirit soul, and we are very, very close to Krishna as a part and a parcel of Krishna. We are all equal basically, right? So that point also I like, Prabhu. And if time permits, could you please share about your trip, Prabhuji? Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Nice points. Thank you for pulling those out. It's very, very nice.
Thank you for your wonderful lecture, Prabhu. You always speak with from deep within your heart. You all prepare and then get to speak. Oh no, this point, that point, that point. But you speak with your heart.
True, Prabhu. I second Narottamila's Prabhu's opinion. I second it. We all prepare too, but you don't prepare. Spontaneously you speak, Prabhu.
And it's so beautiful. You speak from your heart, and as I said, what is in your heart is coming out. That mood, the Brajabhav. You are Brajavasi at heart. So that's what coming out and it's pouring out. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing. One thing I'm just trying to visualize Krishna entering Dwarka, and this verse, and then people coming in front of him, and Krishna bowing down, shaking hands, and saying, the supreme, the master of the entire universe, entire creation, spiritual material world, and just coming and going down to the small, teeny, tiny living entities. I was reminded of a similar thing from the Rajasuya Yajna after Mahabharata, where all the different personalities were delegated different duties, and Krishna had the duty of washing the feet of people coming. I was like, damn, what? So it doesn't make any sense. So Krishna washing the feet of all the incoming guests. I was like, what is that? And one thing which other thing which struck me in this verse is anyone can approach Krishna. Anyone can approach Krishna. So you see, the Prabhupada says a verse in the purport, the father, the grandfather, teacher. Okay, that makes sense. They're all respectable personalities related to Krishna, so they can definitely approach Krishna. But then Prabhupada says, then the chandalas, prostitutes, they kind of like the outcast, right? It means bhakti has no materialist qualification. Anyone can approach Krishna, and absolutely anyone can approach Krishna. Does not discriminate, at least we do, right? So we should be following the footsteps, saying that we should encourage people, whatever position they are in, and not make them, you first remove all the anarthas and then we can only approach Krishna. No, whatever place you are in, whatever place you're situated in, whatever state you are in, state of mind you are in, whatever it is, you can approach Krishna from right there. And Krishna, in reciprocation, properly greets in terms of their mood, in the mood with the approach. Basically, Krishna will reciprocate no matter what. It's not that Krishna, oh, you're not good, okay, I don't want you, go away. No, Krishna won't do that. Krishna accepts each and every one, because everyone is a part of Master of Krishna. So beautiful, but that's one of the most important thing which stood out for me. Anyone can approach Krishna. The dog eater, the prostitute, who are so to say outcast, but Krishna is very, very affectionate, very kind to accept them. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, when we think sometimes that once my arthas are gone, and then we can approach Krishna more, but unless those anarthas are not go away, and unless we approach Krishna, that's the only way. It's the only way they'll go. We have to surrender before all of that, all of the yuck we want to get away, right? You understand this word yuck? All this contamination that we want to get away, only Krishna can do it. Through Krishna and his devotees, right? Yeah, very nice points. And I really like you both, Radhakund, Mataji, and Templasper, you both brought out the point that Krishna's humility, and it made me think of one of the 6 opulences of Bhagavan is renunciation. an aspect of it. In order to be humble, in order to be renounced, one has to be humble. So, and this point is so very important that I think Radha Kundaji specifically pointed it out. Like when we see Krishna, he's accepting everybody, and if he's accepting everybody, what about like how should I accept everybody, right? It makes me think of one story of the guru told his disciple, go out and find the most despicable of all things. So the disciple goes out and he starts looking around. And he's thinking, looking for a despicable thing, and he saw a pile of stool. He said, "Oh, everybody dislikes stool, so I'll take that." That's the most despicable thing. And then so the stool speaks to him. He says, "What? I was Mahaprasad before I associated with you. So before I came through you, I was a nice samosa." And he was like, "Oh, yeah." So then he goes and he sees like a pig. Right? Pigs like to eat stool. So what's that? Might have been those the worms in the stool. And he said, "Well, the worms in the stool are really despicable, right? Sitting around in there." And so he says, so then the stool says, "What? He's the one that's going to make me back into soil so that I can be a flower or as a plant, so that I can be offered to Krishna again." So the disciple realized that he was the most despicable thing. So this is how we should see this material body. Right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said he didn't even like to look himself in the mirror, I've heard, because he saw the reflection of his material body. It reminded him that he's in this material body. But the story is, I think I might have left out some details, but the essence of it is that forgetting. So that this forgetting how to word the essence of it, right? That we shouldn't be looking at outside for what is, contaminated, but looking within, finding the contamination within, and working on getting rid of it. Not to find others' faults, but to see mine. Anyway, okay. Nilam, Lord, your turn. I see two Narottam Bhādas, Premarupa Madhyavam. She can speak something too.
No, but yeah, just the name on it. She's with Saraj right now.
Okay, Nilam, you're up.
Okay, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I don't think I know that much to talk about it, but I feel so grateful for Srila Prabhupada. Like he I mean, I didn't even know him before, but I heard about Hare Krishna, but it just seems when you associate with the devotees, you sort of learn a little bit more. And I think I have a really hard time understanding Bhagavad Gita. I try to read it, but and especially memorizing is not my biggest thing. Like the verses is not, even if I do memorize it, I try and link a few words so I can remember what it means. But other than that, I'm just grateful for Srila Prabhupada. I mean, like he gave us a lot of things that we would not have known, otherwise. Like we already had like so much like the shastras and things that were all like not maybe available, but we didn't have a means of knowing it. But through Srila Prabhupada, I think he gave us like the most simplified version of all things in Bhagavad Gita and anything that we can have access to, and especially like his lectures are very powerful. Like you can, if you sit down and listen to it without doing any chores, like concentrate on it, it's very powerful. Like he would just and he mentions like his, I don't know, I wish he was here with us, so we can listen more. But like sometimes when you think about it, it's just amazing things that he's done for everyone, not just like one like Brahmanas or anything like that. It's pretty much everybody, whoever can come in, take prasadam. He just opened it to, like, he gave us like the treasure, and we just have to know how to use it, I guess. So I'm speaking for myself. I that's it, Prabhuji. I don't have much to say, but I'm just listening, trying to understand and get as much, learning as possible through like the classes. And I'm glad you guys are here. Portland ISKCON is here. So otherwise I wouldn't have known. So it's all of you that I'm learning from, and I'm grateful for that as well. Thank you.
Haribol. We have Prabhupada. We say that, oh, I wish Prabhupada was here, but he is here. He's here. He's here in his purports. He's here in his books, in his lectures. We can experience Prabhupada. And the more that we get in contact and have faith and surrender, Prabhupada can come in dreams. There's so many devotees who have gotten instructions from Srila Prabhupada through their dreams. Right? So it's he's still here. He's still here. So have faith in that. So we're time's up, but we can maybe officially end class and then turn the recording off, and we can discuss my trip in Radhakund. It doesn't need to be a part of the Śrimad Bhāgavatam class. Ramcharaj Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai, thank you so much, Bhalinda, too, for taking your time to visit 7:30 at night in India. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak something on Śrimad Bhāgavatam. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so if you want to stay, we can talk about but we still record.
Stop live, Narottama, please.
I can stop the recording too. Actually, I don't think I do. I'm on my phone right now. I'm not in my computer, so I can't stop the live from my phone for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. I guess if it doesn't matter, and if you're really eager to hear, then I will share.
Yeah, but please go ahead. Buddhism. Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, Bhalita Prabhu, if you are not tired, Prabhu, you look very sleepy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
tired.
So I think
It's already 10:30. You want to share,
A
Prabhu?
little bit. A little bit. I'll share for your pleasure if you want. If you don't want, then that's fine.
No,
But
we
you all
want
to trying to reciprocate with the desire. So I don't know exactly what you want to hear, but one of my friends that I met when I did Mayapur Academy, his name is Krishna Keshav Prabhu. It's another Krishna Keshav Prabhu. It reminds me very much of our Krishna Keshav Prabhu in Portland. Both very sweet devotees. But he lives at Radhakund, and he is very kind to allow this Bāla Nitāi Das to stay, and Radharani allows me to come. So, as we know, Radhakund and Shyamakund are the liquid essence of Srimati Radharani and Lord Shri Krishna. When Ristasura came and tried to terrorize Vrindavan, Krishna killed him. And from there he stomped his foot and made a little kund, and he made a little impression and then asked the holy places personified to come and fill the impression, because Radharani and the gopis said that they won't associate with him because he's killed a bull. So he said, I'll purify myself. So he purified himself in all of the waters, which is Shyamakund. And he said, but you all have to come and purify yourselves because you sided with a demon. And they said, well, we're not going to bathe in your kund. Your kund's contaminated. We're going to make our own kund. So out of one of the hoof prints of Arista, they took their bangles and they dug a big kund. And then from Manasi Ganga, which is like so far away. I don't know how far away it is, but it's quite a distance from Radhakund. Thousands of gopis are passing pots, and they filled the kund. Well, they started filling the kund. Krishna said, told the personification of holy places, all of the holy waters, to please come and fill her kund. So she wouldn't allow, because his kund was completely contaminated. So they approached Srimati Radharani and begged her, please allow us to come and fill your kund. So she agreed. And Krishna said that this kund is so wonderful. It reminds me of you, and I will always bathe in your Radha kund. And she said, and your kund is so wonderful, it reminds me of you, that I always bathe in your Shama kund. And whoever bathes in Shama kund will get Krishna's mercy. Whoever bathes in Radha kund will get Radharani's mercy. And you tell you what, Radha kund is way more busy than Shama kund. If you want peaceful, you can sit at Shama kund. If you want lots of activity, always activity going on at Radha kund this time of year. Because Radharani's mercy is sought after by all devotees, because she is the controller of Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one time the devotees, there's a Gaudiya Math right down the way, not too far down the from Radhakund itself. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, my friend where I'm at currently, it's just right around the corner of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. Had a bhajan kutir here. It's still here. So Bhaktisiddhanta and his disciples were walking around doing parikram, And as you may know, many devotees do Dandavat parikrams of Radhakund and Govardhan Hill, but specifically Radhakund. They were saying, "Oh, so much love for Radharani." And he said, "Yeah, but their concept is different." He said, "They're doing Dandavats of Radhakund because she's dear to Krishna. But we accept Krishna because he's dear to Radharani." So this is the inner mood of Bhakti Siddhanta and the Gaudiya tradition, that this idea of Radhadasya, of servant of Radharani, is more precious to many of the Gaudiya acharyas than service to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada would often say, if we want to get Krishna's mercy, we must get Radharani's mercy, because she is the most beloved and the best of lovers of Krishna. We learn from her. So anyone who has a desire to cultivate Madhurya Ras, must learn from Srimati Radharani and her Gopi friends. So as you go around Radhakund, there's Lalita Kund, where Lalita Saki has her kund, in which various devotees would have bathed in order to approach Srimati Radharani. So Lalita is one of the devotees we must go through in order to serve Radharani. So throughout the Parikrama marg around Radhakund, when Emperor Aurangzeb came to wreak havoc on Vrindavan, all of the deities, the Goswami deities, came to Radhakund. So there's Pratibhu Murtis throughout all of Radhakund, and Jiva Goswami has a Bhajan Kutir, and of course Raghunath Das Goswami's Bhajan Kutir, and Sanatana Goswami's Bhajan Kutir. Lord Nityananda sat at Radhakund before he came to meet Lord Chaitanya in his Leela in Navadvip. Janava, right across from, so on one side is Nityananda's sitting place, and then on the other side is Janava's sitting place, the other side of Radhakund. So right across from each other, Janava sat, and that's right next to Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi. So the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and the devotees have been able to do some parikram of Govardhan Hill a couple times, and not every day, but most days doing parikram of Radhakund. When Das Goswami was here doing his bhajan, he had a desire to make really nice bathing space with the gut and everything for Radhakund. He was like, "Oh, there's so much money. Why am I thinking of trying to, get wealth?" So he dismissed the thought. But Krishna is within the heart. He knows all of our desires. And since this was a pure desire of, it's not like Raghunath Das wanted wealth. He renounced wealth. He had wealth. He had opportunity for all wealth, and he renounced it. But Krishna, wanting to reciprocate with his desire, he at that time there was a very wealthy person up in Badrinath, was going to offer a big donation to Badrinarayan in the Himalayas there. And he said, don't, take all that money and go down to Radhakund in Vrindavan and give it all to Raghunath Das Goswami to build up Radhakund and Shamakund. So he did that. He excavated all of Radhakund and Shamkund. And during the excavation of Shamkund, Radhakund is nice and square, very even. But Shamkund is like oblong kind of shaped because the 5 Pandavas were doing bhajan there in the form of trees. They asked Raghunath, don't cut us down. So they built it around there. You can see still today there's some remnant of that tree, of one of the trees there. There's been some really nice, like Gopal Bhatta Goswami has a bhajan kutir right close to the banks of Radhakund. Then off, but kind of closer to Shamkund is Raghunath Das Goswami's bhajan kutir, which is also right next to it is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who's one of the acharyas that came the next generation after Narottam Das Thakur. So 6 Goswamis and Narottam Das Thakur, and then Vishwanath Chakravarti was like the generation after Narottam Das. And and then right next to that is the bhajan kutir of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, where he wrote this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very, very wonderful. So I take time to chant there nearly every day. I really like that place. It's very peaceful. There's always some devotees coming in to offer pranams, and now they've enclosed it, and the efforts of I think it appears to be both the Gaudiya Math and ISKCON working together to provide these holy places with, they renovated them. And so there's sandstone structures around them that are all carved really beautifully. There's a place called Teen Goswami. So three of the Goswamis, they have disappeared on the same day at different years. Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatt, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswamis all disappeared on the same day, but different years. And there's the Samadhi Mandir with all 3 of their Samadhis together. And they built like a nice temple around it and like a parikram marg around it. And it's like a really nice structure. And it's really, they finished it in like 2018. It's like a nice plaque there that says something along the lines of the servants of Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada have, on their behalf, have renovated these holy places with the blessings of the Mahant that kind of oversees Raghunath Das Goswami's, they call it Gati. I'm not sure what Gati means, but Raghunath Das Goswami Gati, Srila Keshav Das Babaji Maharaj oversees the different areas of Raghunath Das Goswami's bhajan and kutir and samadhi and everything. So there's so many wonderful places here at Radhakund. So just trying to pray and beg for some drops of mercy and trying to chant attentively and with some healing. It's very difficult. The mind is it's a network of desires and distractions. So it doesn't change in the Dham for a conditioned soul like myself. But we're trying to do something, been praying for the devotees and just feeling grateful for the opportunity to be in this most sacred of all holy places.
Jai, Haribol Prabhu. Thank you so much for all your time for us, Prabhu. Despite of your night in the India, still you were able to share something for all of us, for the benefit of all of us. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I went on Bhāgavatam Parikram yesterday with Prabhupada Swami's having a yatra right now in Vrindavan, and they did their Parikram. First, the Parikram got cancelled because of rain, but I was able to meet up with them yesterday and I walked around with Jai Sachinanand Prabhu and Bhakti Rasa Prabhuji also. We did the Parikram yesterday.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Wonderful to know.
Barbecue some kata, different places. It was nice. Usually when I go by myself. So it was nice to go with friends and with Maharaj. It's really nice.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhuji.
Anything else I can serve you? Oh,
Thank you so much for extending your time for.
well.
Please speak.
What?
Please go ahead.
Oh, I didn't hear what you were saying.
No, you're saying something, Prabhu. I cut you off. Please go ahead.
I was just saying the Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prabhu, please take rest, Prabhu. I'm sure it will be a busy day as well. So please take rest.
Well, Grantharaj Śrimad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai, Nanti Koti Vaishnava
Ki Jai.
Devo Dhanavad Panchakalpa Kripaschai Kripaschai Ki Jai. Devo.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
I will end the call. Yeah, thank you.